Hello there! So all the way back in April, and I am aware it's now July, May, June, July, 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, my aunt, uncle and cousin got me a Star Wars Funko. You've probably seen in the background, I love Star Wars, therefore I love Lego Funkos and all the other collectibles that come with Star Wars. But this one in particular is of the scene we all know in A New Hope, where R2 is projecting Leia onto the table in Kenobi's hut, and it's been done really well. This is the second Funko that has come in the style. I don't own the original. There is a Comic-Con exclusive that has a giant R2 and a giant Leia that glows in the dark, something like that. But I've wondered for the past 2.5 months if we can actually get this thing to light up. I saw years ago, someone did it with the Revenge of the Sith, Kenobi versus Anakin, Duel on Mustafar, the Battle of Heroes, and they snuck a few, I think it was a little Christmas light set into the base which caused the lava to glow, which looked awesome. And there are 4 screws on the bottom of R2. So I'm wondering if Leia has been plugged into a solid block of table, or if there's a little gap where that connection is that we can sneak an LED, if not through, at least shining onto to give Leia a little glow. Some of the Funkos displayed behind me are an entire timeline of Star Wars. You can pick out the games, movies and TV shows for yourselves, and they are actually holding up those West Ham shirts behind. But we go all the way from Phantom Menace to Rise of Skywalker at the end. I am missing Acolyte, and I should probably get a few Old Republic Funkos on the left, but there's only so much room that I had. So for this, we're going to need a screwdriver, which I do, funnily enough, keep in my Lego drawers. I should probably move this somewhere else so that I've got more space for Lego, but whilst there's a space in the drawer, you know, it was asking to be put there. And I'm also hoping that this is fairly easy to take apart and put back together, because I haven't actually taken apart any Funko before. I mean, I've removed a few of the old ones off the bases, and we've actually lost the base for Bib Fortuna, so I did end up 3D printing another one of those, which I did include in a video. It might have been the last time that I reorganized my Funkos, because we also used to have a Funko wall right here on the channel. In fact, it wasn't right here, it was right over there, just behind me where Grogu is seated. That was massive. That is a lot of Funkos. I've since put most of them back into storage, just so we had a bit more space for some of the Lego, which is now displayed behind. But don't worry, they'll definitely be coming out one day, and we will rebuild that Funko wall, perhaps even grow it, because by then I'm sure I would have got a lot more Funkos. And that's 4 screws, and now it rattles, but I think that's just R2's bobblehead, because if you weren't aware, Funkos are bobbleheads. This Funko is pretty cool. R2 with the projection. It's not a full projection onto Leia, but you've got the little glow from around the light, which would have been present in the movie. And the Funko itself, R2 with the sandy bottom, I don't think we've seen. I'd love to get just a Funko of R2 a bit sandy on the bottom. That's something that Lego could do as well, just to make the Tatooine R2 a little different. I mean, we see Tatooine enough for R2 to get his own one. Maybe a few other, like Jakku. Is R2 ever on Jakku? Alright, this might be a little harder than I expected. Oh no, we've got a corner. There we go. Well, that makes this video very hard. The fact that there is another layer on the bottom. Do we think they've just glued them in? I mean, R2 does have screw holes there. Were those screws holding R2 on? I feel like even if R2 was being held in by the screws, there's probably going to be some glue, and I don't want to damage this Funko in any way. So that's not looking too great for this entire video idea, but if you did want to try and remove R2, the screws do go up into the base of R2-D2, so remove the base first, but at least we can sneak something secretive inside. The question now is, what do I have to hide? It's not secretive unless you don't know what's inside, so I'm not going to tell you what I've hidden in here. Oh, put the base on the wrong way. Is it going to fit? It does, it fits. But there is something in here, and, well, Feel free to guess down in the comments. This video isn't an entire failure though, because I have recently picked up some LED lightsabers. They have their own video on the channel if you do want to see them used as their actual purpose in LED lightsabers, but I can grab one or two of those and shine them from behind, and with the lights out, hopefully you can see what a backlight would look like with these Funko, because they are translucent elements on R2 and for the hologram of Princess Leia, of which we have also got similar elements in Lego. I wonder how we'd go about giving R2-D2 this sort of cone in Lego. Maybe blue tacking a trans blue cone to the head? We're gonna have to try that too. But when I was creating my old Order 66 displays, which you guessed it, have their own video here on the channel, I did use a few of these spare sabers because most of the Jedi Ki-Adi-Mundi, for instance, only have one saber. So I used the second saber to create this little backlit effect which would light up the rest of the minifigures. And I think also with Anakin, I used the second saber as a spotlight for the Jedi Temple, and it worked very well. We have our power bank, and I've bought in two of the lightsabers, one of which is a clear LED, and the other one of which is a blue LED, which I think might look cool with this blue, you know, translucent blue layer on the left-hand side. But we'll start off with the clear one first, and all I'm gonna do is plug this in and use this like a spotlight. So a spotlight would be either on the top. Is it still not dark enough for this to make any effect? Ah, I see the problem now is that my phone is adjusting to the low light levels. So now that it's actually dark, hopefully this light is gonna have more of an effect. No, not really. You can kind of see it. All right, now it's just come all the way back, but you can see what I mean with it lighting up the layer. Maybe from behind, that looks quite cool. I'll have to impose my hand out of the shot, but this layer is lighting up. Actually, that looks really nice. If you were to have this on display, I'd definitely hired an LED just at the bottom of the layer. If you could have an LED pointing up, think about how cool that would look in a low light environment where the camera's not adjusting to it. And then you could also hide one just to the side of R2-D2. Let's grab some blue tack and make this work. So I've upgraded my power bank, so we've got two USBs for the two lights. And what I'm gonna do is grab a little bit of blue tack. Blue tack is our best friend when working with LEDs, even if it is with Lego. And we want one of these sabers, or any sort of LED that you're using, to be stuck just behind R2, so it's out of frame, but still will light up the front. Even if we bend it around the leg, we can actually get this hidden from the front hand side. This is the back of the display, so we'll get a little bit of blue tack and attach it on the back here, and that will completely hide this lightsaber or LED once it's spun around. And then we want to do the exact same with our other lightsaber. Now this one is blue. This one has a blue light, so I'm intrigued to see how much different this is actually going to look behind Leia. And we're going to position this looking up a little bit, but hidden behind the layer. So we want it bouncing off the underside of Leia's head. And then we won't have to blue tack this down though. You can always do that and run the wires across to the side so you can have all of your Funkos and LEDs with your Lego displays hidden and connected to the same power bank. But if you do have a load of these USB LEDs or any sort of USB LEDs on your displays, please do feel free to share how you power them in the comments, because surely you don't just have a power bank with like a million USBs. Do you have a central hub that plugs into a socket? I think that probably makes a bit more sense. We'll plug both of these in, make sure we've got all the wires as well hidden as we can. All right, you didn't want to stick. What's up? There we go. And we can actually blue tack both of these wires into the same bit at the bottom. We'd have this off the shelf, so these would be hidden. We could actually run them under the mat to hide them off the side of the camera. Something like this. If you do have a desk mat, this is how I tend to hide them away. And now they're hidden. It's time to reveal what this looks like in 3, 2, 1. That does look cool. You can see the way that Leia's lighting up. This blue LED actually shows off Leia a lot better than the white one does. And I'm not entirely sure why that is. I guess it's blue plastic, so the blue light must, I don't know the science behind it. Does it travel better through it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments alongside how you power these lights, because I might have to make this a more permanent part of my display. You can see even to the side angles, this still looks pretty cool. You can start to see a little bump behind, but what you could do is hide the LED on these two jars here, which are also present in that scene on A New Hope. And you could get them really hidden away. Same with R2. You could, if you wanted to drill a little hole in the side there, you could hide an LED in R2's light sensor here, and then not only would that light up the cone, but would also project the light on the front of Leia, and then you'd be leaving everyone wondering how you got the LED wired through R2-D2. Could probably even go through the legs. We saw the screw holes there. So with a bit of work, this could look really cool. And it makes you think, why didn't Funko include LEDs in the first place? Could you imagine if this was the display we're used to getting from Funko? If this was the level, I know they're starting with their lights and sounds. We've already taken a look at Darth Vader and Kylo Ren here in the past. That's the one. But could you imagine if we got something like this as just a common everyday, some translucent elements like lightsabers include lights and sounds? That would be awesome. We've only seen it in Lego really with the sorting hat. There's not been any other set that stands out for using sounds, and well, Lego don't tend to use lights much at all. And we do have second party companies, but with Lego integrating itself more into things like Bricklink with third party companies, could we be getting some lights and sounds more common in the future of our favorite toys? Because it goes from being just a bunch of plastic to then being something that, well, you'd struggle to make at home. So I'm definitely going to be doing this for future Funkos, Lego sets and the likes. Let me know what you thought about it. I think this turned out amazing, and I'm also very impressed that the lights are staying on, because usually the power bank cuts out after a while. So I guess this will be on my desk for the rest of the day. That looks awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video. Check out this one YouTube thinks you'll like, and if you did enjoy this one, a like would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, make sure you're subscribed for more, and may the bricks be with you always.